Hello, hello, and welcome back to Succulents in the City. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. Today's superstar is Euphorbia Mammilaris Variegata, otherwise known as the corncob cactus. So here's my plant. It's a big one. I can't say enough good things about this plant. I love this plant. It's really easy to grow. It probably needs a little bit more water than you think. During the spring and summer, I check it about every 7 days, and usually I water it every 7 days. So now it's the end of August as I'm filming this. So fall is coming, and it's going to be time to start tapering down on the water. So I'm probably going to start checking this maybe every 10 days. And then you start checking every 12 days. And then in the winter, these guys go pretty much dormant. So you need to give a little bit of water, but definitely not a lot and not regularly. I like maybe once every month or two. So, one thing I will tell you, you see this guy has a bunch of pups or arms that are attached to a central stem. Now, if you're underwatering, the connection will become dry. And you can see it in this photo. So here I found one of these little pups that was a little bit too dry. Now, I went over my whole plant, and this is a big plant, so I found two. So I'm not taking that as a sign as I overwatered. But if we find like 10, maybe 5 to 10, that's a sign of overwatering. One thing I will tell you about these guys, I have tried when they're dry like this and they come off, I've tried many times to propagate like this. And unfortunately, it just does not work. So if you see those, if your plant looks like that and you see that, don't start watering every day. Just maybe if you're watering every 10 days, start checking every 7 days. So that's that. Now my plant here, I have had it for a while. So, I know it looks a little bit exfoliated, but not a lot, pretty good for east facing window in New York, which is pretty much the opposite of where this is designed to grow. These guys in full sun, they can get much whiter and they can get pinker. Mine is like a pale green, but this is the conditions that I have. And the truth is, it seems very happy here. So I'm not gonna bother it. So Mammilaris, that refers to the mammary glands or breasts or boobs. I'm assuming that it got that name because of these little nubby things, probably reminded someone of a nipple. This is a Mammillaria cactus, and this got its name because these little nubby things reminded someone of a nipple, so they decided to call it Mammillaria. This is a piece of perlite. Let me get that out of there. So that's how these guys got their names, because somebody thought that they reminded them of boobs. So here's something that I like to do with most of my plants. I like, when it's time to water, only do this in the summer. I like to bring it to the sink and just hose it off. The reason I do this, it gets all the dust and the pests off. Now, only do this in the summer. If you do this, like when it's still cold, in the spring or in the fall, your plant may die. And you want this, you want the plant to dry off. All the spaces inside here needs to dry off. Otherwise, it could lead to problems. But it's really good to give your plant a little shower and get everything off. It's especially important this time of year. Like I said, it's late August because it's fall. So in the fall waterings, when it gets cold, this is going to be watered like I water most of my other plants that just sit in the bottom. I'll sit it in a tray of water. I'm not going to get the top portion of this wet because it's not good when the air is cold for the top to get wet. But since it's still warm out, I just want to give it that, perhaps final rinse off for the season. Let's see what the weather is like. But I really wouldn't spray off your plants like that if it gets below like 55 at night, because you don't want these guys to get cold and chilly. So I'm going to use my Euphorbia mammilaris. I keep wanting to say mammillaria. My sweetheart here. I'm going to use him as an opportunity to talk to you guys about what I like to call makeup for plants. Yes, makeup. I said makeup. You see, like, think of it as a little bit of concealer. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to mix up some paint, some acrylic paint, and I'm going to touch this up. I'm just using like this very cheap acrylic paint from Michael's. I think this was, I don't know, maybe $10, $12 like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some paint that's about this, very close in color to these little blemishes like this. And I'm just going to touch it up. Will it wash off? Yes, it absolutely will wash off. But like I said, it's makeup. Think of it like a concealer. For me, this sits in my apartment all the time. It doesn't go outside. I'm always looking at it. So maybe I'm a Virgo. Maybe I want it to look a little bit perfect. Maybe you want to show off your plant on Instagram and you don't want these little brown spots. That's okay. We put concealer on our pimples and other little things that we don't want to see, right? So yes, it will wash off if you summer your plant outdoors. The time, and you want to do this, the time to do it is when you take it indoors. There's no point in doing this if it's outdoors because the rain will wash it away. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you this in a minute. I'm going to start by mixing the proper color. So to me, this is a lot of white with a little bit of green. So for this, I'm repurposing one of my favorite things in the world to repurpose, the top of a delivery container. And I'm using white and this dark green here. The reason I'm using the dark green and not the light green is because this one, to me, looked like it had enough yellow. The lighter greens, like that green over there, that looked like it had a little bit too much blue. So, with mixing paint colors, it's a little bit of trial and error. Like this to me, let's see. This looks like, that looks okay. Let's see. Do I want to put like a touch of yellow in this, or it depends how perfect you want to get it. But the best way to find out is just to try. So now we start here. As I just showed you, my sweetheart here just had a little bit of a shower. So let's dry him off. And this is so hard to do while I'm looking through the phone. So here we go. Is the color perfect? No, I think it could use maybe a little bit more green. Let's see. So look, I think that needs maybe just a little bit more white. Let's see. And you know, you don't have to mix the color. Like, you can mix it while you're doing it on the plant, kind of like makeup, you know? But look, you just kind of hide the brown spots. All right, there's a water drop. Not a big deal. You know, acrylic paint is water-based. It's, from what I understand about acrylic paint, I'm not a professional painter, but I mean, I know you can clean your brushes with water. It's not like oil paint where you need some sort of solvent. But it's just a little touch up, just to get the brown out, right? So if you're thinking about like covering a pimple, the most important thing is just to get the red out, right? And then it disguises it. And even if you get the occasional water drop like that, sometimes it helps blend it in. So look at that. It looks much better already. Now, Euphorbias do this thing. You can see it. Did mine start to do that yet? I thought I saw a spot. Oh, figures, I'm not going to be able to find it. Euphorbias do this thing. It's called corking, right? And corking basically means that as the stem of the plant gets older, it turns brown, kind of like a tree or a cork. So, you know, that's a natural look. If you like that look, you could leave it. If not, you could touch it up. What you see here? So now that brown spot is a lot less noticeable. Oh, what is this? This, now my plant is wet because I just showed you how it takes a shower, but it will stick a lot better on a plant that's totally dry. But also, sometimes the water is good because it does help it blend in. So, you guys get the idea? See, look how nice that looks. No brown spots. My sweetheart here is ready for the Instagram debut. Look at that. No brown spots. And it's like makeup. A little bit goes a long way. Okay, I'm just gonna do one last spot. This is so hard to do this while holding the phone. I might go back and do some more. You see? I will probably finish and really go over my sweetheart here when I'm not holding the phone, because this is not easy. But without holding the phone, it's much easier. But as you see, everything is blended in. There's no more like brown, and it looks like very nice. I was gonna say tropical, but no, it doesn't look tropical, but it looks nice and lush. One little interesting thing that happened to my sweetheart here, the last time I watered him, there was a mushroom that was growing. Here's some pictures. So the presence of a mushroom does not really mean that you're overwatering it. It doesn't mean anything. I was actually watching a video from Arid Zine, And he says that if you see mushrooms growing in your plants, to take that as a compliment because you're making like a little micro ecosystem that other things want to live in. So that's what happened to Sweetheart last time. Let's see what happens this time I watered him. But aside from that, we're looking very healthy and very green and very beautiful. And we're all made up and ready to go. Looking good. Looking good. All right, guys. Once again, thank you so much for taking your time and sharing it with me. I do appreciate that. Please let me know in the comments if there's a plant that you want me to do an episode on. If I have it, I will. Or if I know anything about it, I will. So thank you. See you next time.